Hey folks, welcome to Wolfpain's Gaming Den. Today we have another unboxing for you guys, and this is one that I'm really excited about. I recently received my copy of Dwellings of Eldervale, and we'll be unboxing the Kickstarter Legendary Edition version of this game. As you can see, this is the one that comes with the alternate box art that's a little darker, a little bit more somber. We'll also have a look at some of the extra add-ons I had with this, so some of the sleeves that came with it. So we'll have a look at how the sleeves work and how they fit into the box at the end of it. The Minotaur Mini that came with it as well. This is one that you could have added yourself for a little extra, or there was a sort of like a game that the publishers had ongoing where if you find out the correct answer, you would be rewarded with a code which you could enter to get this one for free. So we'll have a look at how this one turns out as well. And I also have the extra resource tokens, which would be on top of whatever's in here as well. I don't have the playmat or the dice trays. I wasn't quite sure how many plays I'm going to get out of this for it to be worthwhile for me. But I think there's a lot of stuff in here to get through. So I'm excited. Let's go to the table and let's see what's inside. All right, folks, so here we have the box in front of us. As I'd mentioned earlier, and I'll be using a slightly different angle to cover this because I realized that the box is a little too big to use by traditional setup. So I'm doing it with a slightly different angle. Hopefully this works better for this specific unboxing in question. To start off with, as we can see, it is a pretty big size box. I had it compared very quickly with some of the other boxes I have in my collection to find out which is the most comparable box size I could come up with. And the most comparable I could find, which actually is pretty close to this one, was actually Gloomhaven. So if you have Gloomhaven sitting on your shelf, you're looking at this one being almost the same size as that one, pretty much. So that's there. A traditional sort of like a Ticket to Ride side box would probably be something along the size of this, and a little bit shorter on the height as well. So it's pretty hefty from that point of view. All right, so as that said, the cover art is the alternate one that comes in this particular case. This one is a little bit darker. The other legendary editions or the other copies of this, including in retail if I'm not mistaken, will cover with a cover art that's similar, but will have a lot more color going on in it. So keep that in mind when you look at this vis-a-vis the other copies out there. On the side, we can see that the game is designed for 1 to 5 players, 30 minutes each. Breaking Bad has done some good production quality in the past. I have a copy of Rise of Tribes, the retail one, not the Kickstarter, but it's pretty decent. So I'm looking forward to sort of like seeing how this works out. All right, let's flip it over and see what's on the other side. And there we go. Quite a bit more color on the back end now. So this gives us a sense on what we can expect to see in the game itself. So there's going to be a lot of tiles that will constitute the playing area. There's going to be some sort of a board that comes with it as well. Lots of minis, lots of plastic figures, wooden pieces, and of course inserts. So the inserts are supposed to be a big part of the setup of the game as well, where each player will get their own player board / insert, so to speak, which takes the idea that started off with Vindication but amps it up a little bit because you can use this as part of your playing board as well. So let's crack this open and see what's inside. Oh, this is big. All right. Hopefully I will not break anything in the process. All right, so here we have the front of the box. Pretty much what we had seen earlier. Let's open it up. And very quickly, the inside of the box has some sort of a watermark style dragon art on it. So it's pretty nice. It's nice to have that in there. Not something that they had to put in, but it's neat. All right, moving on. The side of the box does have a bit of artwork going on as well, so that's nice. We'll quickly do a rotation. I'm not going to tilt it over just yet, simply because I don't want to throw out anything by mistake. So to start off, here we have the rulebook. Very colorful artwork and design going on, gives you a good sense of all the components that come in it, and it does seem to be quite a bit. Setup, some optional realms, maybe optional rules, I don't know. We're still going with the setup, terms and concepts, magic cards, how to play. So we've started with the rules at this point. Yeah, it does not seem to be a light game. So there is quite a bit of rules to get through. So there is going to be battle, and you are going to be checking dice. So may or may not be up your alley depending on how you feel about that. But my understanding is that there are supposed to be Euro elements to this game as well. Now it seems like there might be quite a bit of combat going on too. So as somebody who plays both types, it's a pretty exciting proposition. And then you have the back of the box, which gives you maybe an overview on how you can have all the components going back into the box. Generally, I like the looks of this. I don't know if you can tell on the camera or not. It again looks a little bit like somebody did almost like a watercolor / ink watercolor almost. I don't know if that's the best way to describe it or not, but it does look nice up close. Simple but elegant. All right, Coasts of Eldervale. I do not remember what this is. Let's see. So you have the components, so there's more components, setup, coasts, setup, special rules, coast turns. I don't know if this is the solo AI or perhaps like a variant of the game. Maybe. We'll find out. Appendix. Nice. So this gives you a sense on, I believe these are the different factions you can play with. Is it? I think so. Although they do seem to be quite a bit on the dark end. Stormhorde. I don't know if that's a faction or maybe that's one of the bad guys you're playing. I don't know. Oh no, wait. You get your meeples and your pieces and whatnot. So maybe it is you. Nice. Adventure cards. Nice to have sort of like a description of the individual components going on in the box itself. Lots to get through. Descriptions of the cards, quests, spells. Oh, this is nice. The Lux monsters. Oh, I am excited to see what they look like. Yeah, I like the artwork going on in here. Very cool. All right. Now, what do we have? Let's have a look at this one. First time setup. So this is perhaps how you're going to be setting up the pieces inside your player insert. Yeah, something that you're probably doing once sort of like you've unboxed everything and you're going to be putting those pieces back in. And then we have a player reference. Now hopefully there's 5 of them in here. These are not small reference cards, so there's obviously quite a bit going on in there. And yes, there is 5 of them. They all look the same, which is obviously fine. Yeah, so on one side you have, it looks like what the turn sequence is going to be, as well as, so these are the actions you can do, I assume. This is your turn sequence, these are the free actions. And then on the back end here, you have setup of a battle, how scoring works. So all the good details you need to know as you are playing the game yourself. Ooh, important. Please replace your set of 8 elemental starter cards with these 8 cards. So these look like replacement cards, so perhaps some sort of an error may have been identified with some of the cards in there, and they have included sort of like an updated version of this. So nice. We'll maybe come back at the very end and have a look at this once we've identified which cards they are actually replacing. All right, next up, so we see 2 inserts. And again, these feel very good quality. These are not, they don't feel thin or flimsy. There is a little bit of thickness and a sense of robustness with these going on. So these are fairly sturdy. As you can see, there's a minor artwork going on in here. Looks like these might be places for dice or maybe wooden pieces. I don't know. And then there's something that maybe goes on in here. I'm not sure. We'll see. I felt like there's something you could probably put in there, but it just seems too thin for it now. All right, and then there's 2 of these. All right, wooden tokens. Let's bring these out and see what these are all about. I want to see what the thickness looks like, and as well as oh, this is packaged up really nice. Not that easy to take out, but it's got to come out. All right. So these are the tiles that will make up the map themselves. They punch out fairly well. I don't see any issues with it, and they also feel thick to the touch. So if you can make it out here, its thickness is decent. It is double-sided, although the back end is just simply plain artwork with the name. But this is the front art, and these look really nice. There's a very slight sheen going on. I don't know if you can tell or not, but it just looks pretty good. Hopefully, if these hold up in terms of the visual look over multiple plays, they're going to be really excellent overall. What else do we have? So we have something called a tactics token, whatever that is. Looks like these are money tokens, perhaps, or points tokens. I'm not sure. And then resource tokens here. And we obviously have, I forget if they're wooden or plastic bits. So we do have the bag of these to get through. But yeah, but these are nice. I mean, even if you didn't have these feel, these are what you would expect for something of this ilk. So it overall feels nice. And then these are obviously custom shape, and they still punch out well. The axe is, oops, well, that's probably more me than the cardboard itself. But as you can see, these punch out quite well. Overall, I'm pretty happy with the quality on these so far. All right, we'll move on. Put these to the side. Let's flip this over, see what else we have. So again, more tiles, tokens. So I don't know if these are player tokens or if these are the monsters that come in the game or not, but you have these. More resource tokens going on the side. We're not going to punch out each and every single one of them, obviously, but just to give you a quick sense of what's in here. And then this, I believe, is the last sheet, at least that I've seen so far. All right, so 4 sheets of those overall. All right, next up, we have what looks like a, it's obviously not the main board of the game itself. It's some sort of a scoring track, it seems, or some sort of a track where you keep track of some stats or maybe some sort of key progress that goes on. There is one of these in the box. There seems to be some sort of a track going around the outside as well. So that might be the score track. And then obviously you're tracking, I guess, other stuff on in here. And there seems to be one of this. So this might be a common one shared by everybody, I would assume. Well, if you have 5 players, each one getting one of these, that's going to be quite a bit of a big setup. So I don't think that's the case. Stickers, I don't know where these go. Should things not be pre-printed on the components? I'm not sure. Hold on. Maybe these go here. I don't know. There is 8 of them, and there's 8 of them. Maybe that's it. Maybe you just keep the different resource types based on the different sections. It's just a guess, but that might be what happens here. All right, more land tiles, and then more of these. Coasts of Eldervale. So this is related to the other, this one that we had seen earlier. So again, I don't know what this is, if this is like a separate module or an expansion, but it's not a thick cardboard. It's more like a thicker stock paper. But I assume it's going to be fine for what it's supposed to do. We'll find out. On the back end, you have some really nice artwork going on, so cool stuff. All right, so wooden pieces seem pretty standard. These are all the same type, so once you see one, you've seen them all. More wooden pieces. These are probably things you're going to keep track of, I guess. Again, pretty standard. Nothing to write home about. Gods, Volcanic Terror, Frost Giant. Let's open it up, see what's inside. Oh, nice. Really nice artwork. I like these. I don't know what to do yet, but looks very cool. I love the artwork so far. It is top notch. I like artwork like this, so for me this works quite well. Next up, it looks like we have player boards, perhaps. I think I remember how these work. There's some sort of a player insert that you can slot these over. So let's open up and see what sort of factions we may have inside the game. And we'll probably have a look at these together and see what they are. All right, let's bring these out. All right, the Atlanteans. Oh, these are double-sided and they're different. So you have the Atlanteans here. And then you have Pirates of Nightmare Cove. Nice. They do seem to be... Oh, no, wait, there's actually a bit of difference. So just looking at it, there's no text here. Alchemist, Advanced Civilization. This is the ship's captain. There is text here, which is the cannoneer, and there's nothing there. So these are asymmetrical for sure. And these are double-sided, so there's a lot of factions to go through. Wowza. Okay. Pride of Bastet? Bastet? Clerics of the Dawn. Mosswood Trolls. Elves of Briardale. Oh, sorry guys. Servants of the Eye. Rattlings of the Swarm. Warden of Evenmarch. Stonehelm Dwarves. Firewitch Goblins. Embercrush Ogres. Cult of the Night Queen. Shadow Demons. And the last one, Skyborn Avians. And Stormhorde. Nice. And just to recap, we had 4 and 4. 8 of these, double-sided, so that's 16 factions that you have. All right. Cannot say that variability is not in here. So these are the individual player inserts. Now, if I remember correctly, you will have unique pieces that will go on for yourselves, and these will help you keep components organized, not just in the box, but as you're playing as well. The resources that you might start off with, and if I remember correctly from the Kickstarter page, there we go. So, and as you can see, this fits very nicely. It's yeah, and then you just pop it off using the openings on either side, and off you go. Excellent. It's a good way to have things organized. So you have, I assume there's going to be 8 of these trays. So there's 1, 3 more, 3 more, and the 8th one. All right. Lots of stuff to move around. Ooh, shiny. Do I go for the shiny stuff first? Why not? And it looks like we have coins, metal coins. I almost forgot these actually came with metal coins, so it's always nice to be surprised that way. Now, I don't know if these are coins or tokens of some sort. I'm assuming these are coins just given the fact that they're metal and round and whatnot. But as you can see, so these all look the same. I'm just going to zoom into one of it. So you have the dragon symbol going on in here. And then on the other side, Very nice artwork going on. So there's what seems like a house at the center, and then you have different symbols going around it. And there's 8 different symbols going around it, perhaps representing 8 different elements, factions, not factions, because we have more than 8. I don't know, but color me intrigued. And I like the quality of these. These are chunky. These are not the heaviest, but these are heavy enough. I'm happy with these, especially with the design on them. There's a lot of intricate design going on in here, and I definitely appreciate that. Lovely coins. All right, IC minis. We'll get to it. Insert to keep. Why am I struggling with this? Oh, there we go. Insert to keep your resources in based on what you have out here. And there's 2 of the same. Wooden pieces. Let's get through them. All right. So these are silk screened on both sides. Yeah, both sides. And looks like you have different colors for different players. So there's definitely quite a bit of these going on. These are not silk screened, but again, wooden markers of some sort, all in the same color. More dudes. I'm not going to go through each one of the bags because I realize that the video so far is already turning out to be quite big, but we need to get through it fast. So resources, I assume, perhaps, or action tokens. I don't know. These look like wood, don't they? Houses. These, if I remember correctly, are some of the pieces that will go on the individual player inserts, and these are plastic. These are not wooden. Yeah. Look like houses. Well, more like the top of the houses, but you get the drift. See-through tokens. We'll just have a look at one very quickly. There we go. If you're familiar with the ones that came with viticulture, it's one of the sides is a little bit flatter, but it's a little bit bigger and chunkier than what you have in viticulture. So that gives you a bit of an idea on that. More wooden pieces. More wooden pieces. And why not? Stands for the standees, I assume. Dice. Lots of dice. These are on the smaller end, but generally I like the look of these. The color is good, vibrant. Yeah, these are nice. These are not like big chunky dice that you're going to be rolling, but you will be rolling and they feel nice enough. It's just given the sheer amount that you have in here, I think these are fine with the size that they came in. All right, cards. So a set of small European or small American cards, one or the other. Let's have a look at what's inside. All right, so same back. Exodus, Peace, Lord of War, Rise of a Hero, Victory or Defeat. So I don't know what these are, if these are action cards or benefits that you get or whatever, but we'll figure that out once we go through the rules. But generally overall aesthetics are good. Artwork obviously repeats quite a bit over these, but so far I'm pretty happy with the artwork overall that I've seen in the game, so I'm not going to make too much of a fuss over this. I like it. I like it. All right. So those were the cards. Now, I don't know if you can see this or not, but the insert also has this going on in here. So I don't know what this is supposed to do separately. Maybe there's stuff that's meant to go underneath here. And then this just slots over it and then has other stuff going on in there. And then we have 2 minis on this side, and then a whole bunch of different spaces to put things in. So let's maybe start by looking at the minis. And this is nice. It's hopefully you guys can make it out as well, but it looks like there's definitely a bit of wash that's been done on it. It's not your standard typical gray plastic mini. There's definitely a bit of dark spots, signs of wash that have been done on it. Level of detail is, I wouldn't say it's very high. It's actually not. So these are fairly plain. But maybe it's just a bolder dude and it's supposed to be that way. So we'll see what the others look like. All right, this is nice. That's the side profile. So again, this thing, the watch is obviously a lot more prominent in here. Level of detail does feel better on this one. But again, the wash might be contributing a bit more to that effect as well. There is quite a bit of detail going on underneath in here, if you can make it out. And this is the dragon's tail going around. Sweet. Good stuff. All right, but those are not all the minis that come in the game, obviously. There's more. All right, and obviously you can see the Game Trace logo, so you know who's involved, and explains obviously the solid quality we have seen so far as well. And these look promising. These are all in different colors. Again, they all have washes on them, and they do seem to be pretty striking. So let's go through them very quickly, one by one. So we'll put it here. Let's start off with the purple. Whoa, that's his, or her mouth, I think. I would not want to meet this guy on the street. Very nice level of detail. And the wash here is done pretty nicely as well. I don't know if this is just the wash or whatever, but there's definitely gradient when you look at the color sort of like moving across the shape of the body. Very nice. Has like holes in his clothes. Let's have a look at the snake / dragon fella, and we'll quickly just start going through these again in the interest of time. Armored guy. Seems to have like a bunch of rock formation type thing going on in his back. But so far the level of detail again is not the best I've seen, but pretty good, and the wash on it definitely makes it come alive and look a lot better than it would have been had it just been sort of like a regular gray mini, obviously. This must be the croc from the cover. Oops, seems to have something stuck inside his mouth. We'll give him some floss later on to fix that. Good level of detail. It's I honestly can't complain. I'm assuming that the boulder guy we had to look at earlier was more of an artistic choice than anything else. This seems like a wind spirit, water spirit, I don't know. This seems almost like a mouth sort of thing going on. Really, really nice detail. And again, the wash really makes it come alive. Very nice. All right, so with that, we'll move this to the side. We'll crack on. And there's more minis. Well, if you guys came for a short video, I apologize. This is probably not going to be a short one. Lots of lovely detail going on. Reminds me of Shredder from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, that guy. Ooh, I would not want to piss this one off. Griffin, maybe? Very nice. Lots of tentacles. Must be hard getting going trouser shopping for this guy, I assume. He doesn't seem that happy. He's got claws for hands almost. And then the last one. Almost like a bull raging on. Yeah. I like this so far. I am not gonna lie. All right, and then we have these, which I believe were called sound bases. So just took this out from there, and there seems to be some sort of a switch in here. You know what? Let's quickly find out what this does. One sec, I'm gonna bring out. I assume this belongs to this guy. No way. Did you guys get that? Hold on. So imagine you have the playboard, you have this guy, and now he's going on the map. This is, it feels extravagant, but it just feels so cool at the same time as well. It's, oh my God, let's try. All right, we heard. Let's try out one of the others. Now, obviously, there's a different piece that's supposed to go on in here, but it will obviously make its own separate sound. You know what? Just for the fun of it, I'm actually going to bring out the piece that's supposed to go in here, which I assume is this guy. And we'll switch it on. Oh yeah. All right, so that was the sound for the green one. So these are definitely different sounds on different bases, and they're meant to be specific to each one of their corresponding guys based on the color. Oh, this is fantastic. So there's 8 of them. I'd seen 6 minis. 16 minis, 8x8. And I have a hypothesis, without necessarily knowing how the game works just yet. I think maybe the colored ones are supposed to correspond to one another. I don't know. So if you look at the red ones, they share the same red base, obviously. They make the same sound. Are these meant to be like 2 versions of the same being? I don't know. We'll find out. Well, maybe perhaps not in this video, but once I get to the rule book, I'll see if I can do a tutorial for this one, and we'll find out there. So those are the sound bases. Very quickly, I think in this box we just have 2 sets of cards left, so let's quickly go through those. All right, so Oh, maybe not the back. Oh, there we go. These are the back of the card, and there's different types obviously in here. And if we remember the replacement cards, this is what we were looking at. And I like the art book so far. I like the level of detail. Most of these seem to be unique. I don't know if any has repeated so far yet. I'm just quickly scanning through these, but they are different enough. I mean, these obviously are similar, but there's different enough cards, and do seem to be different type of cards in here as well. So yeah, there's that. Oh, look at that. These are the different creatures that come in the game. Very nice. So there is something called a shapeshifter card. So perhaps there are creatures in there that can shift shapes, and that would explain how they have like two different forms of the same color. Maybe, again, I'm continuing to guess. I don't know for a fact, but feels that way as of now. And then the other set of cards. So again, very quickly, the back, different kind of cards going on. Aerial Strike, Soaring Pegasus, Sky Castle, Blade of Ice, Wind Pod. I like the art book on these for sure. These seem to be standard size cards. So if you're wondering what the size of this one is, I really like this one. Nice. Good level of detail. Good fantasy themed artwork for sure. And there's consistency in the design as well, which is good. Doesn't feel like there's artwork by from two different games that's put together. Oh, this is, well, Buried Alive, never nice thing, and obviously not happy as a result. Nice. So there we go. I think that's all we have in the main box itself. Now let's quickly bring out the sleeves that we had a look at earlier on. And I don't know how these are going to fit in here, to be honest. There is not really enough space going on in here for that. So I assume these probably go into one of the other trays. I'll have to figure that out later on. But let's have a look at the quality of the sleeves themselves. So there's two sizes that come in based on the two sized cards that we had a look at. These are not branded, so it's I don't know what brand these are. Usually if you get some from different Kickstarters, I've seen Paladin sleeves as being one of the ones that are very commonly used. These all seem to be a little squished together. Well, quite a bit squished together. Actually, you might have to separate these out with a little bit of work. Oh, there's two of these. There's three of these. I don't know what's going on, but these do not. Oh, there we go. Oh, these are super thin. These are not premium sleeves at all. I might actually have to use my. So these fit well. The good thing is that these are snug. These seem to be sort of like your the inner perfect fit sleeves that you would get for your standard Magic cards. But these are pretty thin, comparable to those perhaps, but still feels a little thin. If you want something that's a little bit sturdy, you might have to get your own sleeves and put them on it. But for the purposes of what it is supposed to do, and I guess for the purposes of putting it on in the inserts that come within the game itself, it's perhaps you need them to be thin. I don't know. Well, I'll have to figure that one out later on. I did not comment on the quality of the card itself earlier, which I will just very quickly say is field standard. I like the look of it. It's not the thickest stock I've ever seen. It's okay. It's gonna get the job done, but it's all right. I would say, just be realistic about your expectations on that one. What else do we have left? We have. Oops, I'm looking for the resources. Sorry, guys. I've got all of these things just. skirt around here. So we had a look at the wooden resources that we got with the game. So we'll quickly crack that out. I don't know if these are wood or plastic. They feel very light. There's quite a bit of shine on it as well, so it actually might be plastic. I'm not sure. Yeah, it doesn't exactly feel like wood, but these are okay. I don't know if I prefer this all that significantly over the cardboard stock that we had, but it's all right. And let me just quickly check something. So it looks like some of these might have a bit of a misprint on them. This one has its coin symbols skewed a little bit towards the side, not completely at the center. And same with the art in the back. You don't really see the same thing happening with this, for example. So you can tell that this is perfectly the center, this is not. It's a minor thing. It doesn't really change anything on the gameplay, but it's a bit of a production defect to keep in mind for sure. And then lastly, we need to find the Minotaur, which we now have here. All right. What's the best way of breaking this guy out? There we go. So it's nice that he comes sort of like in his own box, but I'll have to figure out where I can put him in here. So I do need to make a space for him within the game box itself. And then, ooh, he comes with his own card. Nice. And then here we have the Minotaur. So it seems, and there is a punch out for him as well that I just realized was in the box. And then we'll just have a quick look at the mini itself. In fact, it might just fit in here, wouldn't it? Let's see. There you go, it does. Unless there's something else that's going to go in there, but it seems like we have a fit for him. And here we go, up close. This is definitely one of the, probably the smallest one that's in the game that I've seen so far. But again, it has the wash on it, so it makes the details come out and pop a little bit more. Looks nice overall. Yeah, yep. Cool. And that's it. That's pretty much what's in the Kickstarter box for Dwellings of Eldervale. And with that, let's just go back to the table and I'll just share some final thoughts and words on this. All right, folks, so that's everything that came in the box for Dwellings of Eldervale. As you can see, there was a lot to unpack, a lot of components to get through. It is definitely a large box with a lot of things in it. So let's go through just I don't want to dwell too much time on it, but just like my high-level thoughts on the components and pieces that I've seen here so far. The only two items that I will just call out, just so that you're aware of more so than, because I think this is a major issue, is with the plastic resource pieces, there was that one token that had the print that was a little off-center. The other type of pieces weren't affected, but only the blue ones with that coin symbol were, and it did seem to repeat on some of the other ones for the same type as well. But again, I don't think that's a major issue. When you're playing, it's obviously probably, it's not going to come up that much. It's not, I don't think that's a major issue. But just something that you're aware of in case this, if it's a production defect, then you might notice that on yours as well, just so that you're aware. And then obviously with the sleeve size, I think it might have been a little bit more of a design. It might have been a little bit more of a design choice than anything else. Just to have sleeves that are a little on the thinner end, simply so that you could fit them onto these inserts. Once I assume the cards are going to go in here, so if you do have thicker sleeves, it might just be more difficult for you to fit them in here. So perhaps that is as a result of that. Obviously, if you want to put thicker sleeves on it, you can always do that by yourself as well. You might feel a little disappointed if you were expecting thicker sleeves, but I personally want them to fit back in the box, so I think thinner ones might not be such a bad idea at the end of the day. But again, something that I was just a little surprised by. I did expect it to be a little bit thicker than they were. Other than that, everything else it's and again, when I say everything else, I don't mean those two as like knocks against the quality. They're not. Overall, just generally high quality production throughout, based on what I've seen so far. Unless something really shocking happens afterwards, I'm very, very happy with what I've seen in here. The cardboard quality seems to be decent. Card quality is okay, not really that much to write home about. The quality of the minis are good, and these are definitely made even better by the fact that there is the wash on it, which really helps bring out a lot of the level of detail that's going on in here with these. I mean, even if you're somebody who wants to paint your minis, it may not be a bad idea just to leave them as is, because it still works. It still looks better than your generic gray minis that come with a lot of games overall. But again, if you do want to paint it, I'm pretty sure you could make it look a lot nicer than what they are right now. But if you're somebody who doesn't do that, and I'm not somebody who paints a lot of minis, I've done some, but I don't do a lot as a general rule. For me, having some sort of a level of detail like a wash coming on these works fine. They're not going to pop as much as the Sundrop that you get from Awakened Realms. So if you got copies of Nemesis or Tainted Grail, and if that's the level of wash quality that you're looking for, this is not that. But in and by itself, it's still pretty decent. And again, keep in mind, you do pay quite a bit of premium for those the Sundrop washes for those games. So it is that's there to be considered. But generally, very happy with these. The most unique thing, obviously, with all of these overall, with the sound bases, they all seem to be unique, and they all seem to correspond to an individual mini that comes in the box itself. So keep that in mind. I'd be very interested to find out what the actual gameplay experience with those are like. So when you're out there playing a game and you're putting your pieces down and then it makes that sound, I think it's going to be pretty cool in effect, but we'll see sort of like, if everybody else around the table feels that way as well or not. And again, keep in mind, you may want to have these switched off once you put them back in the box after the unboxing. I just had sort of like, pieces slightly move around a little bit on the table, and they were triggered quite a bit, the ones that I had taken this one off for. So once you have sort of like, you're done with your game, remember that you switch them off and you put them back in, because you don't want to trigger them accidentally. And again, if you feel that this is more annoying than cool over the course of the game, you can always switch it off. It's the option's always there. So that's it. I don't know what else I can add to it beyond what I've already covered. The quality of the tray is, again, one of the highlights for me within the box itself. Really love this so far. And that's pretty much it from my end. I'm, again, very happy with the quality that I have in here. And very excited to try out the game and just see what it plays like, and hopefully in a few months' time, once all of this pandemic thing blows over, I'll be able to get it to the table. So we'll see. And hopefully I'll try and do a tutorial for this as well once I've been able to go through the rulebook with that as well. So that's it from me. If you have any thoughts, comments, suggestions, please feel free to leave them down in the comments box below. And thank you for watching, and I'll see you at the next one. Take care.